Let me see if I can get that chat box on just in case anything comes up. All right, great. Wow, we have a great turnout, already 50 some, and I know it's going to grow as we go. So back to our presentation. All right, so today is our August 6th town hall. As I mentioned before, I'll do these every 2 weeks until we have some more normalcy in our schools. So when things get back to normal, we may decrease them, but we will go with every 2 weeks at 6 o'clock moving forward. So just know that the next one will be on the 20th, and then we'll do another one in September, and we'll keep it moving. And that should be hopefully a good way for us to communicate. So every time I begin with this slide, for those of you who haven't joined us for a previous session, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This really talks about, in the sense of all of us, from adults to children, what we need, and the basic levels, the bottom levels of this hierarchy are the things we need first. And so as we design the instruction and the support and all the things we think about within the school, we are looking at those physiological needs first. We are looking at the safety needs next, the love and belonging needs, then the esteem needs, and then self-actualization needs. So we are moving up that ladder, but we always start at the bottom and making sure that those basic needs are met for all of our students and for our families as much as we can. So about, what was it, 3 weeks ago now, 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the district, Fulton County Schools, made a decision to begin all students in universal remote learning. So this decision was based off of the resurgence of COVID-19 throughout Fulton County and the metro area. And during this resurgence, the district will remain in a remote learning and remote work environment until clearance is given by public health officials. The entire Bethune staff is working at the school at this point, so we are all working within the building, but we've done a lot of things inside of our building to make sure that we are being extra safe and taking some precautions. And so we are preparing for hopefully what it will look like when we have students able to return to us. But we are all here working every day. I'm actually here right now. Universal remote learning. So the focus of today's session is going to be on this. I know that there are a lot of questions, and I hope to have some answers for you, but I also will be happy to take your questions down and get some answers for you. So I'm going to give you an overview of universal remote learning, share the schedule for students. We're going to talk about student attendance and engagement. We're going to talk about grading, and then I'm going to share some student and family supports. And then we have a few other things we're going to discuss tonight. So the overview. Universal remote learning is designed for all students in grades pre-K through 12th grade. I think there is still some confusion around that in Fulton County, that that universal remote learning is not for pre-K or kindergarten, but it is for all students. It is for all students. First day of universal remote learning is Monday, August 17th. We are doing our best to get as many students in class on that day in our virtual classes as possible. So we are really making an effort to have a high attendance outcome on that day. Finally, students will have opportunities to engage in synchronous and asynchronous learning. So these terms are fancy ways of saying students are going to have live instruction with a teacher virtually, and they're going to have work to do independently on their own. So they're going to have a balance of those things, just like they would in a regular school. You know, the teacher is not standing in front of them teaching at all moments of the day. Students also engage in independent work. If you are not muted and can do so, that'd be great. Thank you. So, 1 second. Make sure everybody can hear me.
You know, yeah, he's a really smart super.
Thanks for bearing with me here. Okay. So we are going to look at the schedule for universal remote learning. So before we dig into this, let me give you some information. The district has made a real commitment to not have this look like it did in the spring when we were forced to go into what we call remote learning. They realized that at that point, there was a lot of inconsistency from school to school, even from within schools, from grade to grade, about how much instruction was being provided, how often it was being provided. So the real commitment of the district was they wanted to plan to do remote learning in a similar fashion that we do real learning. So what you see here is a schedule that really is similar to a school schedule when we're here in the building. And I'll just give you a moment to look at it. You can see it. It's by student. So what you would, in order to follow it exactly, you would need to know your homeroom teacher's name. And if you do not know that, you will know that soon because they'll be reaching out to you. But it follows the homeroom teacher. And so if you are a student, and I'll give you an example. If you're a student in Miss Lemon's third grade class, you would begin your day with morning meeting as well as a PBIS or a social emotional learning lesson. That is across the board for all students, if you notice it. 8:15 is the start time for all students, which means that 8:15 is the time that students are to log into their class. Now, we know that some of our younger students do not have a device and unfortunately will not be able to get a device from the district. So there are some other ways that they're going to show they're participating, and we'll get into that in a moment. So 8:15, you're logging in as a student, you're engaging with your teacher in a morning meeting. It's an opportunity for students to get a chance to share what's been going on, connect with one another, do some learning around social emotional things and skills. And then at 8:30, they're moving into an iReady session. So they're going to be with their teacher who's going to be monitoring their work in an iReady session. So they're going to log into iReady and they're going to work through iReady. Again, that's all students. So you notice that except for pre-K, which does not have iReady. I'm following third grade still, but you can see definitely all the grades. At 9 o'clock, they transition to their math class in Miss Lemon's class. So her students would go into math for 45 minutes. Some of that 45 minutes would be a teacher teaching live to them. Some of that time would be them working independently. So the teacher might teach them a lesson and then might give them an assignment. Students will go work. They'll still remain logged in, but they'll be working independently or with a group of students. So there's a cool function in Teams where you can create breakout rooms and you can actually break students out into small groups virtually. So we know our students love working together, so it's a great collaborative function in Teams. After math, you can see there's a 15-minute break between math and science for Miss Lemon's class. So during that 15 minutes, we're asking students to stay logged in if they can and to do a brain break. So the teacher might lead them in some exercise, some stretches. They might just take a break and get a snack, use the restroom, things like that. But then they come back at 10 for their 10 to 10:30 science and social studies lesson in Miss Lemon's class. At 10:30, they take another little break, and then they have a specials at 10:45. So our students are going to go to specials. They'll have PE, they'll have art, they'll have music, and they'll have media, and they'll take those specials classes daily, one different special each day. And so they'll have their specials for 30 minutes and enjoy that time with that teacher. During that time, Miss Lemon would have office hours, so parents can reach out to her. She's available to troubleshoot things that might be going on in the house during that time. And then 11:30 is lunch for all students. So you can see that 11:30 across the board is lunch. And I take it back, with the exception of pre-K, which may need to change. So, but everything else is 11:30 to 12 is lunch. So after lunch, you can see that there is an ELA reading class for Miss Lemon's class. So they go into their reading, and there's 45 minutes of reading. So again, the teacher will teach a lesson, and then will probably facilitate some type of grouping or independent work. And then the students will go into a writing class. They'll have a break, and then they'll go into writing for 30 minutes, and they'll engage in writing. And then after writing, you'll see these blocks called intervention, and every grade level has these intervention blocks. That's time where students are going to get individual needs met. So our students will be able to work one-on-one or in small groups with teachers during that time frame to ensure that we're not missing things in that larger class, especially when it's virtual. So they're going to be working with students to make sure that those individual needs are met during intervention time. That's going to include the work of special education working with their students, students who are receiving additional support through the EIP program, students who are receiving support through social emotional supports. So we have a lot of small group work going on there across all grade levels, and you can kind of follow that towards the end of each grade level's day. And then for Miss Lemon students at 2:15, their academic day ends, and they're done with their work within the class. So that is how the schedule is broken up for online instruction. So again, our teachers will be in the school. We will be teaching from our classrooms to a virtual class, and we are going to really. I mean, we've already. It's been an amazing few days of pre-planning. We're getting ready for this instruction, and it's going to blow everybody's minds when we are able to provide it. So we're really excited to get you all, the students, with us virtually and really show them all these great tools we have for them. So if there are questions about the schedule, I'm actually going to. Is there anybody from Bethune who's in here who could possibly read out any questions to me if they're there?
I have some questions.
Is the schedule for the whole week?
Excellent. Yes, this is every day. This is the daily schedule. So Miss Lemon students in that 3rd grade class will follow that schedule every single day.
And do you log out at lunch?
Yes, you can log out at lunch. The main thing we want to do when we log out is just make sure we come back. That's the only issue with logging out is we don't want to lose the student or have them be late to the next class. But unless you hear otherwise, logging out at lunch is perfectly fine.
I have a
Will
question.
we be
Sure, either one of you is fine.
Yeah, my question is, my daughter is going to pre-K,
Yes.
and how the pre-K thinks is going to go.
So pre-K will, all of our teachers are going to provide an opportunity for live instruction, which means that there will be a link that you can join to watch and join in, have your child join those lessons. Now, we do know that in pre-K, kindergarten, and 1st grade, and 2nd grade, and I'll explain 2nd grade a little bit later. 2nd grade is its own little situation. But in pre-K through 2nd grade, initially, we do realize that some students will not have access to the live lesson. So we're going to make sure that you have access to other resources that you can use. But we really are preferring that people can join the live lesson. That way we can adjust instruction in the moment for those children. But teachers will be reaching out through the phone. They'll be doing other ways to support our youngest students during this time, but we do recommend, if possible, to join a live lesson. And you'll get those links, so you'll know exactly what to do to click on to open it. It's very similar to you all joining my session right now. I sent out a link to you, you clicked on it and opened it. That's really as simple as it is for the students as well. And they're actually much more skilled with this, especially our older students.
Is there going to be any package to pick it up from the school and do the pre-K is going to do it and then drop off in the school? Is going to be like that something?
Yes, I'll explain that in a little while. I'll get back to that question, but that's a great question.
Okay.
I believe someone else may have had a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm worried about the educational support end of it. My child is special needs, and I was trying to see the live sessions. Are they monitoring if the child is actually learning? Because I know he has a hard time paying attention, and the last time we did it during the spring, paying attention was the hardest part because he'll be sitting there in front of the computer, but I don't think that he's absorbing the information.
Yeah, that's a great question. We have really thought a lot about how do we engage our students in this kind of environment more. So there's some different tools and things that you can do to kind of keep students going with your instruction. So for example, I'm not doing a great model of it in my session with you because I'm trying to get information out to you. But if I really wanted to engage you all, I could put little activities in throughout this that you would complete or work along with me. And I'd be checking for understanding along the way. So part of what I'm stopping for this right now is a quick check for understanding around this schedule. But our teachers are getting trained right now on how to incorporate a lot of those engagement tools into the work that they're doing. I don't know if Ms. Newport wants to jump in and say anything, but she's been leading a lot of that work for us. She's our CST, and she's done a fantastic job with the universal remote learning work with our teachers. But there is a lot of focus on engagement, because your point is very valid. Sitting there does not mean engaged, and that's exactly true. And we're going to monitor learning very closely.
Okay.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to that, ma'am. We are definitely trying to make sure that our lessons are as engaging as they can possibly be. And especially in all cases, honestly, we are also trying to make sure that we are differentiating for all of our students. So I understand that being a concern, but we are on it, and we are definitely engaged currently in the training to make sure that we're providing, as engaging of an opportunity as we can for your student.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Sorry. So the last time we tried to do the online, we had to go out and get art supplies, project stuff, and I didn't think any of the classes required all that. You know, the stuff that's on the school supply list I can understand, but I had to go out and, let's just say we had an art class and I had to go get all the stuff that's needed for that.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be able to know beforehand what's needed instead of all that stuff being thrown on to us as parents?
Yes, that's a great question as well. Ms. Super, I don't know if you want to mention anything to them about specifics around that, but I'll just say that, we are making an effort to get some materials and resources to you all, and I'm going to share more about that in a moment. When it comes to individual supplies and activities that require certain things, we will definitely work with our teachers to ensure that that's communicated well in advance, and that there's a plan for students who don't have them, because part of the goal that we have is that we need to design instruction that is flexible for different homes, because again, this is kind of like, everybody's home is going to be different, and everybody's learning environment is different, and the resources they have available to them are different. So we need to be flexible in that. So if that becomes an issue, we would love to know and adjust things to meet your needs with that.
Okay.
I have a concern.
Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to like this virtual learning, my main concern is I work 12 hours a day. I'm a single mother. I have a child going to first grade. I have a child starting middle school, and then I have a 1 year old. And
Yeah.
I was just in a virtual town hall with the middle school, and it seems like it's a lot to be expected. I know we have to put our part, but I'm just concerned about like the what is expected of the child, especially like, again, I work 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to monitor my first grader and my sixth grader to be active. And I'm the type of parent that I want to know that they're learning something and they're getting out of they're getting something out of it. But at the same time, I know my kids, and I know that after a while, they're just gonna get tired of it, just sitting there by themselves in front of a computer.
Yeah. No, that means that's very valid, and I'm quite certain you are not alone in feeling that way, because I know that we have thought about, we didn't establish the amount of time needed for each grade level. It was a district decision around how much time was going to be used for this. So I think when we saw the amount of time, we realized that yes, this is going to be hard, because we know that our families are working. We know they're trying to balance multiple things, and now you're having to monitor or at least check in on this process. So I'll just say this: from our side of things, our commitment is to make it as easy as possible for the parent, and as engaging as possible for the student, right? So we are going to be relentless in working to create engaging things that our students will want to do, not be forced to do. Because we realize that being forced to do it, which means that the parent then has to sit and make it happen, is a challenge beyond what most of us will be able to handle. I know as a parent myself, I can't even imagine. So I want there to be, we want there to create student buy-in and really engage our children and that's through connections with their teachers. That's through engaging in rigorous, relevant activities that we design for them. That's through giving them opportunities to work collaboratively with their peers through, a virtual way. So, it's going to take us a while to get it all right, but we will be there along the way to kind of hear feedback and adjust and think about ways that we can continue doing this and learn, from what's working and what's not working. So, you just know you have my commitment that is a worry and it's a valid worry, and we will continue working to make it less of a burden for our parents.
It seems like
Okay.
it's more so of a burden because I can't go back to work now. I have to sit at home from 8 to 2.
Yeah, I can only say that everybody may have a different individual story with this, and depending on the children that you have at your house, also the age group, the level of independence, those things like that. Um, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a decision that was given to us, and we're going to implement it the best way possible with taking your feedback along the way. Because I definitely hear you, believe me. We want the kids back, right? We just know that it has to be safe for that to happen, and we ultimately are not making that decision either. So we're gonna, the thing that Bethune and what we pride ourselves in is, if it's not a decision we get to make, we're going to take that decision and we're going to run with it and try to do the best possible thing we can with it. Although they're often not perfect choices, regardless. Any other scheduling questions? These are great.
I
have a
have a
question.
question.
Sure.
So I last year or in the spring was able to manage and facilitate virtual learning in the evening. And so that was something that really worked well for my household. I was able to be fully involved and engaged with my kids to ensure that, they were following along with the lessons and really retaining the information. But it seems like now with this strict schedule, we won't have that option. And so I'm kind of disappointed that we did find a system that worked. And now, it looks like we won't at least have that available to us.
Yeah, and there may be flexibility in that I'll share with you all what attendance means and kind of that information. And it may be because it's still kind of there's still some modifications being made to this. So there could be opportunities for there to be, some ways a child can show their engagement, but possibly not in that actual class session. We would always recommend they can join it when it's live, just because it's going to give that teacher a chance to work with them live. But in terms of additional things that might be happening, maybe there'll be some opportunity to do that too. So, but hopefully I'll maybe get some insight into that, or at least take that back as feedback for our team.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so I guess, as we know, there's already schools that are starting to reopen and teachers are having to go into the classroom. In the event that you all are not able to go back into the classroom and virtually teach, I guess meaning someone tests positive for COVID-19, do you have an action plan in place in regards to the students and how the whole learning session will be able to go?
Yeah, unless it's the person who possibly would be positive would obviously not probably be providing virtual instruction. But if we, let's say, had to leave this building because of an outbreak or whatever the case may be, quarantining, things like that, right? Because we've all heard the news stories, that we would continue providing instruction remote. So it's nice for us to do it here because we have our resources available, but we would not stop if we were not inside this building. We would continue with instruction.
I have a question.
Sure. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
My daughter, I have a baby home that has a heart condition, and they were talking about the kids supposed to transition back into school. I don't know when, but I want to know if there's an option where my daughter can continue to do virtual.
Yes, you guys have such great questions. Yes, I wasn't going to get into that yet, in this meeting only because there's a lot of things to iron out with this plan. You might see it or hear about it because it is going public, but it's a reopening school phase-in plan. And basically the phase-in plan is, imagine the way the superintendent has described it is, imagine turning on the faucet, but you turn it on very slowly and you have a little bit of water coming out. So the idea would be you open school back up very slowly with a few students at a time. It's like I said, there's a lot of details to iron out, so I don't want to try to get into the weeds of it. I will say this though, to answer your question, you will continue having an option for virtual if you are not comfortable coming back, period.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't mean to interrupt, but can we just hold off on the questions until the end? Because he does have a lot of information to get through, and we want to answer all of them. I promise you. But he
I'll
just,
come back.
I
If anybody's waiting, I will definitely come back to you all. If you are asking a question, I can't hear it. I'm not sure of who you are, but I will definitely come back to you. So just make sure you keep that question. All right, back to this. I'll kind of run through what we have after this, but I'm glad you guys got some questions out. That's good. All right, so this is straight from the district, so I wanted to make sure I read it just as it was written. During universal remote learning, we must ensure that all students continue to be engaged in their learning, whether they use digital, print, or other district resources. Attending a class and being engaged in a class are two different things. Both are vital to student success. The district is working with the Georgia Department of Education to refine our implementation of attendance and engagement practices. So what they're basically saying is that students are going to be able to show that they're doing this, that they're going to school by engaging in digital, print, or other district resources, and that they are working with the state to really better refine how we do attendance, how we do engagement, which means that anything that we share today could change given additional guidance, because you would hope and you rely on experts who possibly are more skilled with virtual learning out there, because there are schools who do this all the time. Many of you have probably attended a university or know somebody who attends an online university. So there are people who do this for a living, and so relying on people, some experts to help us along the way. So I wanted to read that to you and move on to this next one. Okay, so this is how we're going to be looking at attendance for pre-K through first grade. So one of the following must be logged by the teacher into Infinite Campus, that's IC, each week to mark a student's daily attendance for all 5 days of the week. So let me make sure I'm clear on that. One of these things must be done each week to show attendance for every day. So those of you with younger children in pre-K through first grade, your child, although we recommend being in class every day with our teachers and doing that live, they can still get attendance credit for completing one of these three things. So submission of a weekly work packet. And if it's not a packet, it will be weekly assignments that we assign. So we may give weekly assignments out, and I'll explain more about what's going home later. So that's one. Direct contact with a parent or guardian. So direct contact, the teacher talking with a parent and saying, hey, how are things going? The parent confirming, my daughter is working hard. She's working on these things. That would be counting. And participation in asynchronous lessons. So this is the one we recommend for everyone, is join us for a live lesson. And we're really going to try to push as many, of those as we can to get our kids in those live instruction lessons. But that's the other way you could show it. So there are some options the district has decided to provide to show attendance. Now, I don't have the details because this is being ironed out and modified basically daily at this point. But if you have questions about it and you want to put it in the chat for me to look and to consider, I'd be happy to. And you will get more information about this at next week's at the open house next week. You'll find out more about this, and I'll talk about the open house at the end of today's session as well. So there are three options for pre-K through first. Now, if you are a second grade through fifth grader, you also have three options. But here's the difference. This is what it says for second through fifth grade. One of the following must be logged by the teacher into Infinite Campus each day for ELA or math to mark a student present for daily attendance. So these are daily for our 2nd through 5th graders. Now, 2nd grade, as I mentioned, is a little bit different. 2nd graders currently are not given devices. However, if you have a 2nd grader, I want you to listen closely because you are going to be able to get a device, but it will not be until after Labor Day. The district has committed to 2nd graders getting devices at this point, and I'm hoping they're going to continue adding to that list. But 2nd grade at least is the first group after 3rd through 12th graders that they're going to add. So that's after Labor Day. So that's why they included 2nd grade in this group. So one of these things must be done each day for a student to be considered present. You have participation in a synchronous lesson. That's the easiest one because they're going to have a device. They log into the lesson with their teacher. That's attendance. Done. Direct contact with a parent, guardian, or student. Again, a teacher and a parent can talk, and that could be considered attendance if the student is working and the parent's confirming that. And then the submission of an assignment. So we're going to be assigning various digital things as well as some printed things. So students can assign or can complete different work and submit that work. We recommend that all work is submitted digitally if possible. It's easier for that work to then get to the teacher than it would require you to drive here and drop it off. And so we are really, recommending that we submit digital work or copies or pictures of work or things like that, just to ease the amount of time you have to come back and forth from the school. But we will have a process for that if it does mean turning into work. So I'm going to do a quick pause and do maybe like 3 minutes just to keep time going of questions. If anybody has any questions about pre-K through 1st or 2nd through 5th.
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are they going to be using Nearpod again this year like they did in the spring?
Absolutely. Yes, we'll be using Nearpod often.
And will they be, because last spring they were getting 100+ pages of Nearpod each week too.
Okay.
So is it going to be the same workload?
I know it was last year we were taking kind of a district packet and we were trying to create lessons around the district packet. So we weren't just giving our parents a packet and saying, here's an instruction. So we have created our own content this year. We've created spirals, we've created other content that will be a lot more user-friendly for both students and easier to understand for our parents, but it's not going to be near the length because we weren't really, more is not always better. So we want to kind of dig deeper into the work we're doing with our students, not just assigning them so much work from a big workbook like we were last year.
Great, thank you. That was a lot.
You're welcome. That's a great question. I have all those sitting in my office still from all the submissions, and it is a lot.
Mr. Pratt, how do you use Nearpod? Because I was unable to get in there and use it with them.
I would tell you, but it's probably going to take a little longer. So if you shoot me an email, I'll make sure that we can give a support session for using it, though, Ms. Perry. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about it? Again, we'll provide way more detail on this. I want to get you guys this information really early so you can begin just thinking about it. But again, as we go, we're going to be adjusting a little bit here and there, but this is our plan so far. Awesome. All right, grading. So kindergarten through 2nd grade, they will be using the scale of S, N, U, or I. So that is no different than it has been in the past, except for 2nd grade will be considered in that as well. Now, if 2nd grade moves to being devices only, like our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, 2nd grade possibly could move down to the bottom grade scale of an A through F with percentages. But currently, this is the grading scales for all students. So students will get grades. If they do not attend class, they will get an incomplete. They will not get a U. They'll get an incomplete, and they'll be expected to make up whatever the learning was missed. Same for our 3rd through 5th graders. If you don't attend class, you're not going to get an F. You're going to get an I. The actual A, B, C, or F, that's supposed to represent how much you understand, not whether or not you were sitting in class that day. So I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. Okay.
So, Mr. Pratt, I have one question. Sorry.
Absolutely.
All the classes start at the same time
Yes,
for
every
all
class
of
starts
them.
at the
I
same
don't
time.
have three different grades.
Yep, 8:15, everybody logs in.
Okay. So it's
Okay. Student and family support. Okay, this is a really important one because again, how do we make all this work? So, remote learning resources. If you have not heard from us this week, I do want you to put your name in the chat box if you've not heard from anyone from our team, because we have been contacting all parents this week to schedule a pickup of resources at our school next week. So um, we have a team led by Miss Newport who has been working on getting resources ready. And there's a team led by me who's been working on outreach. So we have been really trying to figure out the best way to support our families with this task of trying to do remote learning away from school. Um, so I'll explain more about those in a moment. We're also going to talk about meals, family assistance, social emotional learning and PBIS, and WINGS. And we have Ms. Stagers from WINGS who's going to share a little bit about how WINGS can support virtually. So remote learning resources. So next week, we are doing a deployment of materials, devices, and hotspots. And as you've heard me say many times, devices are grades 3 through 5 only right now. And hotspots are all grades. So if there's any question about hotspots, I'll give a quick description of a hotspot right now. A hotspot is going to be a tool that allows you to access the internet for up to, I believe, 8 devices in your home for a year for free. Now, there are limitations to how much, I guess, I want to say not battery power, but in terms of like gigabytes and memory these have, which means that you really need to protect them first for the students to do their learning from. We have heard, some hotspots were being used for like gaming, and then like, they were running out of their capacity quickly because the gaming was taking all of it from it, so other people couldn't use it. So just really, if you get a hotspot from us, um, you simply will need to kind of protect most of that time for the student to engage in that learning. However, you can also use that internet for yourself and for your family. So it is available for everyone, and it's a year long subscription you have, but it's free. So if you've not talked to anybody about a hotspot this week and you have no idea, please put your name in the chat and say, please, reach out to me about a hotspot, or I'm interested in a hotspot, and I will check our list to make sure we get that to you. So please do that for me. Materials, we have hopefully backpacks. We have a lot of backpacks. We're waiting to get some more, hopefully, so everybody can walk away with a backpack full of materials. The materials are workbooks. They are activity books that we'll be using for our instruction. So we really want these to be picked up. We also have coming soon math manipulative kits that will be hands-on materials for math. However, as things are right now, they got delayed. The shipment got delayed, like many other things. And so we're waiting for that shipment to come in. So we may be planning a separate math distribution day or a way of getting those to you later in this month or even early September. But we have a lot of things to pass out next week. So the plan will be Monday of next week, pre-K and kindergarten will have a deployment of backpacks full of the things they need. And that's going to be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we hopefully have already connected with all of our pre-K kindergarten parents and have them already ready to roll. But if you are pre-K kindergarten and you hear this, that is the date that you would be coming, and that's the time you'd be coming. Now, let me give a quick caveat before I go through all of this. If you have multiple children in your family at different grade levels, which many of our families do, you will go to the oldest child's deployment day. So the example would be if I had a kindergarten child, a third grade child, and a fifth grade child. I see kindergarten's Monday, third grade's Wednesday, fifth grade's Friday. I don't want to go on all 3 days. So I'm going to go on fifth grade's day. The reason we're doing that is we will have the materials ready for you from the kindergartner and third grader waiting there. So those are easy to grab, but we want to make sure that you're coming on the oldest child's day. Tuesday, we have first grade and second grade. Wednesday, third grade. Thursday's fourth grade, and fifth grade on Friday. Now, we are also looking at extending the time on one of these days, and I'll be reaching out if we're able to do that I'll be reaching out to you with that information, so we will have more time. If we do not extend the time, we're considering possibly doing a weekend pickup or looking at doing some additional times next week or the following week. We really want to get all these out this week, if at all possible. So any questions? I'll do a quick stop here. Any questions about deployment? Excellent.
Mr. Pratt.
Yes.
Okay, my question is, I have one child at the middle school and one child at your school. I noticed a shortage of hotspots and devices. So what I'm thinking is, if I got one for the fifth grader, then I don't need one for the other kid. I can just log them both into one device.
Yes, you got it.
I don't want to be greedy. I want to be greedy and take two if someone else needs
No,
one.
no, no. I think you'd be fine with one.
If I can get one.
Yeah, you should be fine with one. If there's an issue, you can always reach out to me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And just so you guys know, the hotspots and devices get signed out to the child. So there is a record of the child, and the hotspot and device being theirs, for the time being. And so that's going to be part of what we call destiny. It's a way of recording that information. So that will be recorded in there. There was something else I was going to tell you all. Oh, when you come, and please spread the word to anybody else who's coming. Pickup is going to be on the side of our school where the buses pick up in the afternoon. So if you know kind of how the thing is built, you know that there's the entrances up front and then there's a side entrance. We want to make sure we're going down the side entrance where the buses come on the side of the school building by the big parking lot. We're going to have some signage. We'll have some people out there to help with that, but we really want to make sure everything's that direction, and it's going to be a drive-through process. So we recommend, we would like anybody coming up once they get to our campus and then they pull up to wear a mask as we interact with you all. No, you're not going to get out of the car. We're going to get your name. We're going to get your things ready. We're going to give it to you. We're going to say, great luck, thanks for coming. Let us know if you need anything, and we're going to keep you moving because we know you have things to do. So this is not a long process. We are not updating computers. We're not fixing computers. We are simply giving computers out to students who need them, who did not get them yet in grades 3 through 5, and we're giving out materials that students will need for their learning. And we may not get it all this time around, but we're going to get a good chunk of it. And we really hope to limit you needing to come back to the school every week to do these packet things. So the packets are the district's weekly thing. We have created a lot. We've created content for much longer. So you're not constantly back and forth, trying to get packets and turn them in. And so that's our goal. And that's one of the ways we're trying to make this a little easier for our parents. All right.
One last question.
Sure.
Mr. Pratt. Do you have enough all the time? Because my daughter was in line last time, 3 hours, and didn't get a device.
We have a device ready for every child already logged to them. It's literally, they've already been organized. They're sitting here ready to go. Okay. So our team has been amazing. You guys, I'm telling you, it's been amazing watching everybody work so closely. They've got them all organized. They've got them signed out. All we need to do is have our students come pick them up at this point, but we're going to wait till next week to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And then another question was going on at the same time. Ma'am, can you ask your question too?
I was just trying to put a message in that I needed hot saying that I can put the message in administrator.
Can you do me a favor? I'm gonna put my email in this. You're gonna see it in a moment. If you email me, it's even easier for me to get to you. And just let me know, and I'll make sure we get it happening. Okay. Meals. Okay. This is very small.
I have a question.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I have a question. When it comes to the hours of pickup,
yes.
When we're working between those time frames.
Yeah, so we are going to try to figure out the extension time for the hours as well. Part of the challenge on our end is when you deal with devices and other things, you have to have certain people from the district also involved in the process, because you got to sign out things, sign back in things. So that's why we can't just be as flexible as we want to be. But I do promise this, if these times are unsuitable and they're just not able to work, and you let me know, we will figure out a way to make it happen, because we're not going to go without getting and making sure that your child has what they need. Okay. And other, the child can come on as long as we have a parent, a guardian, somebody that is a family member that can sign and say, yes, I'm picking this up and I'm supposed to pick it up. We're going to be flexible too with who comes and gets the device. We just have to be able to verify that it's the right person. Meals. So every week there are meal distribution locations around Fulton County. These 2 weeks, yesterday was the first day, and then next, I want to say next Wednesday, the 12th, meals will not be at the school sites like they typically have been over the summer. They're going to be at different community partners. And so I've included a list of those below. The places closest to Bethune are going to be obviously Chapel Hill Church, Atlanta, Elizabeth Baptist, and New City Church. I want to say will be the closest to our community. This is just for the 2 weeks that you have yesterday and the next week. Moving after that, once we start school back up, they'll go back to being at school sites. Now, I believe, but it's not set in stone yet, but I believe that McNair Middle School will be the pickup site for food for all of our Bethune parents. So one day a week, if it's probably going to be Wednesdays from 11 to 1, there will be a time to pick up meals for, I believe, the week. But I will send more information next week about that to make sure everybody is aware of where that is. And we just want to make sure you have those resources available to you. I know that time frame may not be the most conducive, but I don't have any control on that. But it is an opportunity to get the meals for the week. Okay. Family assistance. So there are other resources the district has available to it. And examples would be considered gas cards, would be considered support with employment, support with, and I can't tell you everything because I'm not over this program, but rent support, or at least conversations around where you can get support for things like rent, other things like that. All I need you to do is, if you need assistance, is email me, and then I will get our social worker involved, who will be able to get some things for you to assist. So please don't go without asking us, because we do really want to support you all. And there are a lot of resources available in the district this size. So I don't want anybody to go and feel as if they're going at things alone. At least reach out, see what we can do, and give us a chance to support you. So Ms. Hutchinson is our social worker. And if you reach out to me, I will immediately connect you to her. But I want you to be able to reach out to me immediately first, because I can take care of that for you quickly. So you have my number here, 404-660-2677. If one of my team members from Bethune could throw my contact information into the chat, so that anybody that wants to email or call will have it available to them there, that would be really great. PBIS. So we do PBIS within our school. That's our positive behavior intervention system. We are always reinforcing the right behavior inside the school building. So we want to do the same thing outside the school building. So we are working on a matrix, a virtual matrix. So I wanted to give just a quick look at this. This is a new, hot off the press today document. But we are looking at ways that we can incentivize and recognize students for meeting goals and expectations when they are working remotely, which we hope by doing that will help you as a parent not feel like you have to monitor everything they do. So I'm not going to read through all of these, but I will say that we've tied in a lot of things in here that we hope will be helpful. You can see attending class each day in there. You can see completing your work. You can see being on time, staying focused, raising their hand on this virtual hand when you need to ask a question, muting your microphone, being supportive. So there's a lot of things on here that we're going to be looking at, and our teachers are going to be reinforcing those, and then having special rewards, and they might have a little dance party. They might have other ways to incentivize this with our students. So wings, I'm going to bounce out of this presentation and pull up the presentation shared just a little bit ago by Ms. Staggers. Many of you are familiar with wings, but I wanted to give her a chance to share what it is that Wings is doing virtually. And we hope once our kids come back, we'll come back to having Wings with us in the building. But I did want to give her an opportunity to just talk to you all just for a moment, and then we'll finish up our session tonight. So let me go into this. And go ahead, Ms. Staggers.
Hello, parents.
Hello, parents.
Oh, I have a little echo.
Let me mute myself real quick and see if that helps.
Testing. Still echoing a bit.
Is it still echoing?
Let's see. Yes.
Well,
But I can perceive.
I don't hear an echo. I don't know if our families do. I don't hear an echo from you. You all
I do.
sound good? Okay.
When anyone speaks, others go.
I don't know how to fix that. I can read the slides.
You would have to turn off. You would.
Oh, my
You have to
sound,
turn
right?
off your sound.
Yeah.
Okay, one second. Let me unshare and share back. No one go anywhere. Coming right back. Okay, what about now?
Hello. That's better.
Thank you for the support.
Figure that out. So for those of you who are not familiar with Wings, we're a social and emotional education after school program. And so we work to help kids to build some of the skills that Mr. Pratt was referring to earlier, such as coping and relationship skills, making responsible choices, and things like that. And so we have been working to create a place to learn for them to grow socially and emotionally, but most of all have fun in the virtual space during these unprecedented times. All right, Mr. Pratt, you can go to the next slide. So how can we support you during this time? So while we are in the remote learning space, Wings will be providing one-on-one academic assistance. So this is something that parents will be able to sign up for slots. So there's a first come, first serve service that we'll be able to provide. And then we will also be providing tutoring in partnership with some certified educators. We will also provide one-on-one tech support. We know how wonky technology can be, but we will be there to support you on a as needed basis. But again, you would have to, your child would have to be signed up for the program. In addition to that, we will provide some mentorship opportunities. We'll provide spaces for relationship building. Of course, they're going to be on these computers all day, and although their teachers will be providing that space for them to interact with one another, we're going to do that in a way where they can learn simultaneously. So without even realizing that they're learning and building those social and emotional skills. Also, we will offer, we call them our after school clubs. So there will be some opportunity for project-based learning and activities that students will be able to engage in. We'll provide the supplies for those, for pickup for those activities also throughout the week. And in addition to that, we will connect families to resources as needed. So through different various partnerships, such as Wi-Fi, food insecurities, things of that such. All right, any questions for me about any of those services that we will be offering?
I have a question. If your child was already enrolled in Wings last year, do we have to re-enroll them?
Great question. So I am going to include a few links in the chat. If your child was enrolled in Wings, you would fill out the form that says returning Wings students. So they will automatically roll over. We just need for you to complete that form so that we can get them registered in our new system. And then for new applicants, so if your child has not participated in the Wings program previously, then you would fill out that form.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Staggers?
That's all for me. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you. All right, everyone. We're going to finish up and get us out of here by 7. So let me go back to current slide. Okay, so real quick, just want to mention and remind everyone of our communication goal. We have by September 8th, all of our parents and guardians will be registered for Class Dojo and Campus Parent. Our teachers are currently working for Class Dojo to get things set up right now. So you'll be getting invites soon if you haven't already done so. Campus Parent invites will be coming soon as well. Many of you are working on getting activation codes, and there's a lot of logistics around this, but we definitely want to reach this goal, so we're going to support that along the way. We are now in the August 3rd through 14th part of our communication plan, where you'll be receiving individual phone calls from support staff, also from teachers, with information about their class, about your, to share information about themselves. You'll continue getting general information and updates through School Messenger. We have our virtual town hall meeting right now on the 6th, and open house will be August 13th. I'll share the times for that later. And then moving into August 17th to 28th, we will be communicating with individual parents to ensure they start registering for Class Dojo and Infinite Campus. We will be doing home visits for select students that we cannot locate through phone calls. So we, again, will be visiting and trying to figure out where our students are, because sometimes numbers change. We will be sharing information and updates again through School Messenger. And we will do our next virtual town hall meeting on August 20th at 6 p.m. So you'll get an invite to that in the coming week. That's the plan for communication. Final housekeeping items. Student enrollment. We want to continue urging everyone to register. If you know anyone who has a pre-K kindergarten student and they are waiting to find out what we're doing, let them know, please, that we are providing virtual instruction, and we're going to do a great job of it. So please register for pre-K kindergarten especially. We are low in those numbers, and we want to ensure that we are able to meet the numbers that were predicted for our school. Virtual open house. We will do 3 sessions. They're going to be all virtual. You'll get links and details later, but I did want to give you the general times. Session 1 will be 12 to 1:30. Session 2 will be 2 to 3:30, and session 3 will be 4 to 5:30, and that's going to be next Thursday. So just a heads up on that, you're going to get more information in a separate communication with the actual links to join those sessions. But those sessions are going to include time to meet the teacher, to hear about the expectations for the grade level, to ask your questions that you may have asked with me, but you may want more specific information about your child with that teacher. And then I said our virtual town hall meeting will be August 20th at 6 p.m. for our next one. And the final thing I want to plug, and I want, hopefully, we have some people who are putting in chat. If you are interested, we are really looking to build our PTA. Right now, we have about 70 to 80 people in this chat. I know they're not all parents, but many of you are. If you are interested in being part of our PTA and really making it a strong connection between our home and our schools, our school and our homes, please put your name in the chat box for me. I'll be sending out an interest link as well through email, but I would love just to have you put your name in there and say interested in PTA, so we can begin building up that base of parents. We have some officer positions that are going to be available. I know that probably Ms. Demonville is on this call, or Mr. Swanson, so I don't know if either one of them want to say anything. They can if they like. I'll give them a few minutes or a few seconds to pause.
Oh, that's Charlene. Charlene's the boss.
Yes.
Where are you, Charlene?
I'm right here.
Plug our PTA, guys.
Why are you putting me on the spot, Mr. Pratt?
You know, that's what I do.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, to piggyback on what Mr. Pratt said, we have well, we have like 3 positions currently open. We have a secretary position, a treasurer position, and a vice president position, because I am leaving. I was the president for 2 years, so my time is up. So Mr. Swanson decided he's interested in being the president. So he is currently running for president, but we haven't sent anything out yet as far as voting and hosting meeting and trying to get people in. So that will be coming later. That's all I have right now. So unless Mr. Pratt want to add on to what
And
I
if
just
anybody
said.
would like to be president, I would be more than willing to hand that over to them. It's not a position.
So yes, we are
really
looking for
want.
anyone interested in being part of this work. We are going to do some great things together. So if you're interested in, and it's not going to be a lot of time, it's probably going to be virtual. So hey, we'll make it work whenever. But if you're interested in supporting the school in that way and being part of our thought partner with us, we would love to have your name down. I see some names already down. So thank you for that. And I'll be sending out an interest survey soon. But I'm sure if you're joining this call right now, you're somebody that we'd love to have on this team. So that is all I have. I know that there may be some people who have some individual questions, so I'm going to personally hang back and see if anyone has anything specifically for me. I'll be here for another 7 minutes or so. But I do appreciate you all coming to this. It is fantastic getting the chance to see you every 2 weeks like this. And I hope you feel like they're informative. I hope you feel like they're beneficial. And I want you to understand how hard this team is working to make things work for you all. So thank you. Thank you to the team who joined tonight. Have a good night, everyone, and stay safe.
Hey, Mr. Pratt.
Yes, Ms. Smith.
For the Infinite Campus logins,
Mm-hmm.
I co-parent with my ex-husband who's in Florida.
Eric, can you take it 1 second? Hello?
Infinite Campus, can he have his own? I asked this to the middle school principal earlier, and he said he had not heard of. Basically, parents want to co-parent. We both want access, but he's in Florida. I'm here. Can we both have access so we can monitor our son's grades?
So I believe so, as long as we have his email address and he's in Infinite Campus as a guardian, as a co-parent. So if you send me his contact info and make sure I can look in there and see if I see his stuff, then he should have the same option you do. When I send you your code, I should be able to click on him and send him his code.
Okay, yeah, because the code didn't work. My daughter, we're not good at it, so she had to try to do it for us. And the code we had wouldn't work for 2 parents.
Okay. Yeah, so if you send me his contact info, I'll look in there and get back to you to see if we have him in there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I was
Mr.
trying
Pratt.
to get that. Hello?
Yes.
I was trying to get the answer for how I pick up my daughter's the things.
So Monday will be pre-K. You're pre-K, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you can you access the chat box? Can you put your name in the chat for me and say pre-K, I need to pick up things for my pre-K child, and I'll make sure I get you on the list?
I mean, I don't know nothing about these things. I'm completely new.
Got you.
And I don't know nothing about. And right now, I look like I lost you. I cannot see in my screen you and anything.
Okay. Did you possibly see my email address at all tonight?
No, I don't see anything.
Can I give you my email address? Can you write it down somewhere so you can send me an email?
Yeah, I can write it. I can write it down.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, let me know and I'll give it to you so you can send me an email.
Ready. I'm
okay.
ready.
It's P-R-A.
P-R-A.
Yep. P-R-A-T-T-T. So 3 T's.
T-T-T.
At fultonschools.org.
Okay, at fultonschool.org.
Yep.
So P like a potato, R like a rat, A like a apple, T like a tango at fultonschool.com.
.org. O-R-G.
.org.
And make sure it's Fulton Schools. Fulton Schools with an S at the end of the school.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I need to send, what I need to send it to you?
You just need to send me your and your child's name and that you want to pick up pre-K materials.
Okay, all right, thank
sir.
you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pratt,
Yes.
I haven't heard from my child's teacher. Should I just wait one more day? Wait for tomorrow?
Yes, but if you do me a favor and can you use the chat box or no?
No, I'm on the call.
You're on the call?
So I'm not. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Wait
But
one
I
more
can-
day
I
and
can't-
then reach out to me through email if you don't hear from anyone.
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, Janaea. Thank you for letting me know about Janaea. We will make sure we figure out what she needs to get.
Mr. Pratt, I don't have any questions or anything. My boys would like to say hello.
Oh, awesome.
Say hi. Hi.
Hey,
They
how are you guys doing?
Nothing. No, he said, how y'all doing? Not what y'all doing.
Well, listen, if I would have said, what are you doing? And your response was nothing, then you better get ready for what's going to come your way in a couple of weeks because you're going to be saying, Mr. Pratt, I have so much to do. I got like 3 virtual classes. You're going to feel like you're in college, I think.
I think they ready. Their sister is will be in kindergarten this year, so they're motivating her to get to school, even though it's not real school. They're excited to get started. Hello.
That's great. That is great. Hi.
Why is it everyone? Because everyone is there. Was there anything? I did have, well, you said in 2 more weeks, every 2 weeks we'll have this?
Every 2 weeks, I'm going to do this every 2 weeks until we probably come back to school face to face or something is whatever becomes more normal for us. But this is going to be 2 weeks, every 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, I did put my information down for the PTA. So
Excellent. We will definitely reach out to you.
Email.
Okay. Yeah, I got you right here. Chanel Miller, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Miss Fields, I saw that too, Miss Fields. I love it.
Mr. Pratt, you're a former student.
Wait, is it light outside still? Because I've been in this office for, I think, maybe the last 13 hours. So, hi.
She's ready for middle school.
You're going to love it. Virtual middle school is going to be better. Hi, guys. Thank you, Miss Fields.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
How will you do your daily high fives in the hall?